Kane Review, print speaking to the blind, celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @KaneReview. That is @CUEANDREVIEW. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@kuenreview.com. That is INFORMATION @CUEANDREVIEW.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
This week's podcast of the Wednesday the 9th of April 2025 edition of the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald is read to you by volunteers Alan, Corey, Hunter, Ian, Jahan, Nikki and Philip, and we hope you enjoy the podcast. Award for Saving Dad. Recognition for saving Dad's life. Report by Kevin McRoberts. A young girl from Bishopbriggs has been recognised at a prestigious award ceremony for her swift actions which saved her dad's life. Emma Walsh, 12, was highly commended in the Young First Aid Hero of the Year category at the 12th Annual Scottish First Aid Awards, organised by Scotland's only dedicated first aid charity, St Andrew's First Aid. Emma's award was given to her for her remarkable and calm response when a trip into town in January last year quickly escalated into an emergency situation. Emma's dad, Chris, suffers from tonic-clonic seizures as a result of a brain tumour. While out shopping with him, Emma spotted the signs that a seizure was imminent and quickly got her dad to safety in a nearby quiet shop. She then alerted the staff, giving full details of her dad's condition and explaining that she needed help in phoning for an ambulance. While shop staff phoned emergency services, Emma focused on ensuring her dad was comfortable, removed his jacket, glasses and watch, and made sure nothing was obstructing him before the seizure came on. Emma also used her dad's phone to contact her mum and alert her of the situation and their exact location. Dad, Chris, said, "I am so proud of Emma, not only for how she has handled the news of my illness, but also for her courage in learning about the condition and how to help me if I had a seizure. She is a remarkable girl, and without her quick thinking and calm nature that day, things could have been very different for us all. It's hard to believe she was just 11 years old at the time. She truly is my first aid hero." Emma's mum, Lorraine, who nominated her daughter for the award, added, "It's natural for every parent to think their child is great, but knowing ours has this level of bravery is something we're both so proud of. I'm so proud of Emma for staying calm and attentive that day to make sure her dad was okay." Stuart Callison, Chief Executive of St Andrew's First Aid, commended the young hero. "Emma deserves this highly commended recognition for her dedication to learning and supporting her dad," he said. At just 11 years old, her actions that day were nothing short of heroic, and her calm response highlights the importance of first aid knowledge from a young age. She is a wonderful example of how knowing what to do in a challenging situation can bring out a positive outcome. More than 300 people attended the St Andrew's Scottish First Aid Awards, which are held at Radisson Blu in Glasgow. The night was hosted by comedian Ray Bradshaw and included entertainment from X Factor star Nicky MacDonald. More than 70 nominations across 10 categories were received this year, each one highlighting an exceptional example of first aid, intervention, skill, or act of sharing best practice. The night also raised more than £23,000 for the charity, which will be invested back into its work and ongoing efforts to support communities through its valuable demonstrations and training. And that report was written by Kevin McRoberts and read by Ian McKenna. This week in history. April the 12th, 1992, Euro Disneyland opened in Paris. On this day last year, Gatwick was the worst airport in the UK for flight delays the previous year, an investigation found. April 13th, 1668, John Dryden was appointed the first poet laureate. On this day last year, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt declared he was ready to cut taxes and bet on growth after the UK's domestic product, GDP, grew again in February. April 14, 2003, the Human Genome Project was completed with 99% of the human genome sequenced to an accuracy of 99.99%. On this day last year, the knife attacker who killed 6 people in a stabbing spree at a Sydney shopping centre before being shot dead was a 40-year-old man with mental health issues, police said. April 15, 1966, Time magazine voted London the City of the Decade. On this day last year, former British and Commonwealth champion Willie Limond died at the age of 45, the St Andrews Sporting Club announced. April 16, 1964, 12 members of the Great Train Robbery Gang were sentenced to a total of 307 years in jail. On this day last year, Brazilian police investigating the discovery of a boat full of corpses said the dead were likely African migrants from Mali and Mauritania. And that was This Week in History, read by Ian.
Films drive home dangers of trespassing on railway. A series of hard-hitting films showing the catastrophic consequences of trespassing on the railway have been created by Network Rail and British Transport Police. The films are part of a new Stay Off the Tracks campaign, encouraging people to respect the railway boundary, as a survey reveals more than a third of people in Scotland think it is safe to walk on railway tracks if no trains are coming. The videos feature first responders collaborating with film industry professionals to recreate the sights, sounds and impacts they encounter when dealing with life-threatening injuries caused by electricity. The railway's overhead power lines carry electricity at 25,000 volts, and moving too close to them can cause severe or fatal injuries. There were 1,357 trespassing incidents in Scotland last year, down 12% from 1,540 the previous year. An increase in the number of incidents is typically recorded after the clocks go forward to British summertime. Anthony Boyle, Network Rail's mobile operations manager, said, "Having witnessed the traumatic aftermath of railway accidents, I can tell you that the impact of these incidents is profound and lasting. It's heartbreaking to see preventable injuries devastate lives. That is why when someone is on the track, trains must be stopped or slowed and electricity turned off, causing delays and cancellations for thousands of passengers. We urge everyone to recognise the dangers and keep themselves and their loved ones safe." Anyone who witnesses trespassing on the railway should contact BTP by texting 61016 or calling 999 in an emergency. Find out more at www.uvstrain.co.uk. That's youvstrain.co.uk. This report was read by me, Nikki.
Clear evidence of systemic problems across Scotland. This article is unattributed. Healthcare Improvement Scotland's NHS GDC review has wider implications for NHS services in Scotland. 11 recommendations contained in the report are for the Scottish Government and national agencies. Robbie Pearson, Healthcare Improvement Scotland Chief Executive, said, "It was important to us that this report was of value to the whole health and care system across Scotland, and that patients and staff across the country could benefit from this work. As a result, this report is one of the most far-reaching and comprehensive reviews we've undertaken, in terms of the breadth of evidence we've analysed and the number of patients and staff that we engaged with. Moreover, we believe that the recommendations, including those that sit with our organisation, are the right ones to help deliver better patient care, both locally and nationally, and supported by a positive culture where everyone works together to solve problems." Those recommendations have been welcomed by the Royal College of Emergency Medicine. President Dr. Adrian Boyle said, "What this in-depth review does clearly evidence is the systemic problems in urgent and emergency care across Scotland and the rest of the UK, including the endemic and pervasive issues of so-called corridor care, ambulance stacking, and the associated patient harm. RCEM strongly supports the national recommendations, particularly the development of a national standard approach to improving the quality and safety of urgent and unscheduled care in NHS Scotland, and improvement in the process by which staff can raise concerns and have faith that they will be addressed. Emergency departments are where the issues present across the wider healthcare system become most visible. But the problems which manifest there are often not caused by the department itself. There has to be a whole system approach to risk and patient care, as this review suggests. We very much welcome strategies to abolish corridor care, ambulance stacking, and use of non-clinical areas in emergency departments." That article was unattributed. Pressures in A&E's Mount by Julie Curry. An independent review of NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde emergency departments found a system that was under pressure. The review found that unacceptable practices, such as patients waiting on trolleys in corridors, have become normalised. Published by Healthcare Improvement Scotland, it concluded that relationships need to be repaired between various groups of staff, supported by compassionate leadership. These poor relationships are impeding the NHS Board's ability to address problems, particularly prominent at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. A culture of, quote, "disrespectful behaviours, poor teamwork and incivility" is having a negative impact on staff morale and likely having a detrimental impact on patient care. The report made 30 recommendations for NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, but the findings also have national implications, with a further 11 recommendations for Scottish Government and national agencies. Chaired by independent experts Dr. Pamela Johnston and Prof. Hazel Borland, the review was carried out as a result of concerns from emergency department clinicians at QEUH who believed patient care was being compromised and their concerns were not being listened to. Dr. Pamela Johnston said, "It was clear that every member of staff we spoke to was committed to delivering high quality and safe care and shared the ambition to improve the current situation. However, when staff do not feel valued and respected, goodwill is eroded. To resolve this complex problem, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde needs to take a whole system approach across urgent and unscheduled care. This strategy needs to start with everyone working collaboratively and respectfully to address the issues before them." The review provides an analysis of challenges facing emergency departments at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, the Royal Alexandra Hospital and Glasgow Royal Infirmary. It focused on 3 key areas: patient experience, quality of care and patient safety, and leadership and culture. The review team considered a range of data and information, and their work was also informed by engagement with both staff and patients. The review found crowding and poor patient flow in the emergency departments across NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, a lack of a coordinated strategy to improve patient flow within the whole system of health and social care, serious concerns raised by staff about insufficient management support to frontline staff, senior leadership not actively engaged in addressing the serious challenges in emergency departments, a lack of compassionate and positive leadership at all levels of the organisation, especially in responding to concerns raised by staff, an unacceptable normalisation of care in non-standard bed areas, such as corridors and other ward spaces, in Glasgow Royal Infirmary and the Royal Alexandra Hospital, a normalisation of ambulance stacking at QEUH as a solution for emergency department crowding. The majority of patients that responded to a survey carried out for the review and that had received care within the 3 emergency departments reported a largely positive experience. That article was written by Julie Curry and it was read by Jahan.
Rapist who abused 4 men is jailed. A report by Kevin McRoberts. A rapist who subjected 4 men to a catalogue of abuse including sexual violence, physical assault and controlling behaviour has been jailed. Mantas Vanegas was found guilty of 4 charges on November 26, 2024, following a trial at the High Court in Paisley. Last Monday, March 31, at the High Court in Edinburgh, Vanegas from Milton Keynes was given a 14-year extended sentence with 10 years in custody. His name has been added to the sex offenders register indefinitely. Non-harassment orders banning Vanegas from contacting or attempting to contact the 4 victims were granted for an indefinite period. The 27-year-old targeted 1 former partner at addresses in Kirkintilloch and Paisley in 2021. Vanegas uttered derogatory remarks towards the man, threatening to harm himself, refused to leave the home and made alarming remarks about rape towards him. On one occasion, the abuser pushed the victim on the body, causing him to fall onto a bed. Vanegas then seized him by the neck and choked him. He was also found guilty of biting the man on his neck and throwing a shoe at him. Vanegas was convicted of sexually assaulting 2 other men and raping a 3rd while he was asleep and unable to consent. The offending happened over the course of 16 months. Scotland's Procurator Fiscal for High Court Sexual Offending, Katrina Parks, said, Mantas Vanegas is a dangerous and predatory individual who showed no regard for the well-being of the victims. It is thanks to their bravery in coming forward and reporting their experiences that he has been held accountable. This prosecution and conviction sends a clear message that this type of offending has no place in society. I would urge anyone who has been the victim of similar offending to come forward and report it. You will be listened to and supported as we use all the tools available to use to seek justice. Police Scotland Detective Inspector Raymond Sagan added, We know how difficult it can be to report these types of crimes, and I would like to commend his victims for their strength in coming forward during the investigation. Their information was essential in helping us build the case against him, and I hope this outcome provides them with some sense of closure. That report was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Don't miss out on vaccination as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. Public Health Scotland, PHS, is encouraging everyone offered a COVID-19 vaccine this spring to come forward, get vaccinated and stay protected because the virus hasn't disappeared. Last summer in Scotland there were more than 10,000 reported cases of COVID-19 and over 4,000 people hospitalised. This year's spring vaccination programme is focused on protecting those most vulnerable to COVID-19. This includes older adults in care homes, people aged 75 and over, and those with a weakened immune system. If you're invited for a COVID-19 vaccination, it's because experts know that your age or health condition mean you're at higher risk of becoming seriously ill from COVID-19. Dr. Sam Gebrehowit, Head of Immunisation and Vaccination at PHS, said, "You get your strongest protection from the vaccine in the first 3 months after getting it. Over time, this protection gradually fades, so even if you had your winter vaccination, it's important to get another dose this spring to reinforce your immunity and help keep you safe. Getting vaccinated could mean the difference between a mild illness and a hospital stay." The spring vaccination programme until June the 30th. If you're eligible, you'll be invited by letter, email or text message, depending on your selected communication preference. You can reschedule your appointment using the online portal or via the National Vaccination Helpline on 0800 030 8013.
Share views on economic plan, a report by Kevin McRoberts. The initial consultation on a new economic development strategy for East Dunbartonshire has been extended. Early engagement is taking place to help guide a plan to support jobs, productivity, investment, access to goods and services, and community wealth. As part of this preliminary stage, East Dunbartonshire Council has been asking residents, businesses and organisations to complete online surveys via the website www.eastdunbarton.gov.uk/EDS-2025. The deadline for completed surveys is now Friday, April 11. The surveys aim to identify everyday experiences and habits, the main economic challenges, including local and global issues, support measures for enhancing the local economy, and community aspirations for the future. Councillor Paul Ferretti, convener of the Council's Place, Neighbourhood and Corporate Assets Committee, said, "We have extended the initial consultation to help ensure we gather views from as many people, businesses and organisations as possible. If you can spare 10 minutes, please get involved and have a say. It's particularly important that we hear from a wide range of traders, service providers, companies and third sector/partner organisations. Many thanks to everyone who has contributed so far by filling in a survey or having a chat with us directly. Your feedback all adds up. All responses will be used to create a foundation for developing a new economic development strategy, ensuring that it reflects local priorities." That report was written by Kevin McRoberts.
More affordable and social homes. Local MSP Rona Mackay has welcomed figures showing 1,642 affordable and social homes have been completed since 2007 in East Dunbartonshire. The latest housing data show that almost 137,000 have been built across Scotland, with 97,099 socially rented homes completed. Proportionally, this is 40% more than those built in England and 70% more than those built in Wales. Since the SNP entered government, 1,381 social homes and 261 affordable homes have been built in East Dunbartonshire. Ms Mackay said this demonstrates the progress being made by the SNP government in tackling Scotland's housing emergency, with an investment of £768 million in affordable housing across Scotland over the next year. The MSP for Strathkelvin Bearsden added, "Everyone in my constituency and across Scotland should have a warm, safe and affordable home Under this SNP government, we're working to ensure those who need it most have access to housing. These latest figures show a significant step forward in addressing the housing crisis, and I am proud that Scotland continues to invest more per person than any other UK nation in measures to tackle homelessness and help people remain in their own homes. From building more homes to tackling the root causes of homelessness, we know how important housing is to build a better, more prosperous Scotland, especially while progress has remained so stagnant elsewhere in the UK. This is just another way the SNP is delivering for my constituency under John Swinney's leadership.
Volunteers' Plea by VSS by Julie Currie. Scotland's national charity supporting people affected by crime is searching for volunteers to help victims and witnesses in East Dunbartonshire. Victim Support Scotland, or VSS, is on the lookout for anyone who can offer at least 4 hours per week and feels they can make a difference. Volunteers will provide vital, emotional and practical support to the people who need it most in their own community. The call for volunteers is not a nationwide one on this occasion. VSS is specifically looking for volunteers in East Dunbartonshire. An independent charity, it provides a range of bespoke, trauma-informed, personal support to individuals and families dealing with the impact of any type of crime in Scotland. This may involve providing advice during visits to court, including Dumbarton Sheriff Court and Justice of the Peace Court, to help demystify the process, providing emotional support, signposting specialist or professional services, or simply being there to listen. All support is geared towards helping people find a way forward and to move on from trauma. Volunteers are essential to VSS and can have a transformative impact on victims and witnesses. Due to the level of training and the kind of support required, as well as the need to build strong and lasting relationships, VSS is looking for people who plan to volunteer for a minimum of 1 year. However, VSS offers flexible options to suit a broad range of lifestyles and is keen to speak to anyone who can offer at least 4 hours per week. Once signed up, new volunteers will be fully supported, receiving in-depth training over 12 weeks to ensure they have the skills and resources they need. James White, Head of Volunteering at Victim Support Scotland, said, "Our volunteers are vital to the work we do. Without them, there would be many people dealing with the impact of crime who we simply wouldn't be able to support." The relationships VSS volunteers build with the individuals and families they work with are lifelines and can have a truly transformational impact. Being affected by crime is often one of the most challenging and traumatic things a person will deal with in their life. Providing the right support at the right time is crucial to helping victims and witnesses move forward with their lives. We always aim to do whatever we can to ease concerns and anxieties, and offering comfort and hope to people in their own community is a big part of that. Having volunteers who know the East Dunbartonshire area and can meet up in person where appropriate makes a huge difference. VSS is an inclusive organisation, and we encourage anyone interested in volunteering to get in touch as we push towards supporting even more people affected by crime in Scotland. For more information on Victim Support Scotland and volunteering opportunities in East Dunbartonshire, visit www.victimsupport.scot/volunteer today. That article was written by Julie Currie. From a Seed to a Mighty Oak by Julie Currie. When Pauline Walmsley retired in 2016, it was on the back of 2 life-changing losses. Her mum, who had been living with dementia and whom she had cared for, passed away in 2015, and her dad passed in 2016. Pauline, who had worked in health improvement with the NHS for many years, decided, age 60, the time was right to retire and spend more time with her grandchildren. Within a few months, though, she was wondering what to do with herself. Speaking to her friend Carol Beckwith, who also worked at NHS Greater Glasgow, the pair hit on an idea to help unpaid carers, using music as an outlet. Pauline explained, "Carol got me into music and songwriting while I was caring for my mum. It was a way of getting my emotions out. A few months after retiring, wondering what I was going to do with myself, I spoke to Carol and we came up with a plan to help carers looking after people with dementia." At the time, Carol was doing an MA in songwriting at the University of the West of Scotland, where she became involved with dementia studies. She's now in the final year of a part-time PhD course, looking at how songwriting can be applied to help her understand the dementia carer experience, while continuing to work for the NHS. In 2017, Carol and Pauline, who both live in Bishopbriggs, launched Acorn Shed Music, with the aim of finding ways to use group songwriting to explore difficult conversations. Their small seed of an idea has since grown from an acorn into a mighty oak. Thanks to Alzheimer's Scotland, the duo got funding from Life Changes Trust to launch a pilot project at Bridgeton Dementia Resource Centre in Glasgow. The centre looked after loved ones with dementia, while Carol and Pauline worked with their unpaid carers, crafting songs from their shared experiences, which ultimately were recorded on a CD, This Rain. Thanks to another boost from Life Changes Trust, Carol and Pauline went on to work with the St Andrew's Dementia Hub in Carluke, again working with unpaid carers to talk about their experiences to create another CD, Through the Window. Sadly, in 2021, Life Changes Trust disbanded. However, it left behind a Legacy Partners Fund, which Pauline and Carol were able to tap into. And that led them back home to East Dunbartonshire, working with Certis Advocacy through its D-Cafés and the Village Storytelling Centre to launch a 2-year project, Songs from Here. Pauline said, "Up until that point, we'd worked only with carers, but Songs from Here saw us working with both those who had dementia and their carers. We all worked together collaboratively to create songs. We released 2 further CDs, Pendulum in 2023 and Reflections in 2024. Our journey creating Reflections from August 2023 to June 2024 was also filmed with the aim of showing how the group helps people who often feel quite removed from their community, feel a part of something really positive." Carol, 61, plays guitar and drums, while Pauline, 68, perhaps better known locally as a skilled martial arts instructor, also plays guitar, accordion and the ukulele. While they both write music for the songs, the end product is very much led by the carers and their loved ones, whose experiences form the basis for the lyrics. Thanks to funding from East Dunbartonshire Council's Community Fund and East Dunbartonshire Voluntary Action, Songs from Here has continued, meeting on the 2nd and 3rd Tuesdays of each month at Bishopbriggs Community Church from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. However, with little funding left, Pauline and Carol have been busy trying to source grants to cement the group's future. And this week, they were delighted to learn that Acorn Shed Music has been awarded £19,640 from Age Scotland's Dementia Encouraging and Supporting Grassroots Activity Fund. Pauline said, "This has been a massive boost to our Songs from Here project and will ensure it can continue until at least 2026. It is a critical step towards ensuring the longer-term sustainability of our local community music work with people living with dementia and their families. It will provide the resources we need to strengthen the foundations we've built over the last few years." Pauline and Carol are now hoping to release an EP with the regulars who attend their sessions and are hoping that carers reading this may want to sign up to. The group is not for everyone, added Pauline. It involves active participation by both the person living with dementia and their carer, but those we work with get a lot out of it. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a way to meet others on a similar journey, talk about their lives, and do something creative, which is an outlet for their emotions. To find out more about Songs from Here, visit https://acornshedmusic.co.uk or email rgorman@seartus.org.uk or carol@acornshedmusic.co.uk. That article was written by Julie Curry.
Kirkintilloch's Optimists walk in aid of Rape Crisis Scotland. To celebrate International Women's Day and the 50th anniversary of their club, Kirkintilloch's Optimists held a sponsored walk in aid of Rape Crisis Scotland. Members aimed to walk a combined distance of 50 kilometres. In fact, they covered over 60 kilometres, raising £700. Some members celebrated with a walk round Kirkintilloch, visiting places of interest to the club. The walk started at Kirkintilloch Baptist Church, where they currently hold their meetings. Next stop was the Millennium Plinth, donated by members in Barley Bank. Other stops included Beatrice Meadows, the site of Broomhill Hospital, where members entertained residents for many years, and a nostalgic visit to Kirkintilloch Library. The club has a long connection with East Dunbartonshire Libraries and currently deliver books to housebound readers. The walk ended with a much appreciated coffee in the KBC Cafe.
Crematorium introduces evening openings to offer twilight funeral services, by Kevin McRoberts. Bishopbriggs Crematorium is expanding the funeral service options it offers by introducing new twilight services. The bereaved can now book final farewells for their loved ones at 6 p.m, 7 p.m, and 8 p.m. from Monday to Friday, with up to 60 minutes of chapel time, including entry and exit. Bishopbriggs Crematorium is part of Westerly Group, one of the UK's largest independent owners and operators of crematoria and cemeteries. Lisa Somerville, crematorium assistant, said, "We are always looking for ways to offer local families more choice when it comes to arranging funerals. Spring, summer and early autumn months should bring with them some beautiful twilight evenings, with the soothing backdrop of birdsong over our beautiful grounds. We believe this could provide a comforting environment for a funeral. In addition, offering later services may help those with friends and relatives who want to pay their respects but have difficulty attending a daytime service because of other commitments. We pride ourselves on providing exceptional care, and part of that involves enabling families to create a uniquely personal funeral service as a final farewell to their loved one, and the opportunity to be able to choose a twilight service is just another way in which we provide more choice for those we support. Bereaved families can now request this service when making arrangements with their funeral director. To find out more about Bishopbriggs Crematorium and its services, visit www.bishopbriggscrematorium.co.uk. That article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Home Bargains licence approved. East Dunbartonshire's local licensing board has approved an application allowing a new Home Bargain store in Bishopbriggs to sell alcohol. The board granted the application made by TJ Morris Scotland Limited, which trades under the Home Bargains name. The company is in the process of replacing its current outlet in Strathclyde Business Park with a larger unit due to open in August. This project has seen a £2 million investment. The number of employees in the new store is expected to be around double that in the current premises, with 20 to 30 jobs being created. Among the products available at the store will be a range of beers, wines and ciders, as well as seasonal gift packs containing spirits. All sales of alcohol will be governed by a strict age compliance policy, and the applicant's representative said the current store had been in operation since 2014 without any issues. No objections to the application were received, although the Health and Social Care Partnership noted that the area had a comparatively high rate of alcohol-related hospital admissions compared to the rest of Eastern Bartonshire, and therefore stipulated that Challenge 25 must be in place and called for the placement of the alcohol display to be such that it is not accessibly visible to vulnerable people. The Solicitor for Home Bargains confirmed various measures taken by the company to ensure correct procedures are followed, including staff training, electronic age verification prompts, and a refusal log test purchasing at all Home Bargain stores and extensive CCTV systems. The application was unanimously approved.
Family announcements. Deaths. Barclay. Elizabeth (Betty). Peacefully on Friday, March 28th, 2025 at Glasgow Royal Infirmary. Betty, aged 93, beloved wife of the late James, loving mum of Paul, Rena, Joan, James, Stephen, and devoted gran to all her grandchildren. Fortified by the rites of the Holy Catholic Church, RIP, reception and vigil to take place at St. Fallon's RC Church, Kirkintilloch, on Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 6 p.m, with the funeral mass on Thursday, April 10th at 10 a.m, thereafter to Old Isle Cemetery, arriving at 11:15 a.m. Family flowers only, please. There will be a retiral collection in favour of Mary's meals. Love. May. Peacefully at Marie Curie Hospice on March 28th, 2025. Beloved wife of the late Dave and much loved sister, aunt and great aunt. A great friend and neighbour to many. Funeral Mass will take place on Thursday, April 17th, 2025 at St. Paul's RC Church, Milton of Campsie for 10 a.m. Thereafter to Bishopbriggs Crematorium for 12 noon. No flowers, please. Donations, if desired, to Marie Curie /Sight Savers. Stevenson. Rena. Nee Hamilton. Peacefully at Whitefield Lodge Care Home, Lennoxtown, on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, aged 89 years. Rena, beloved wife of the late Alan, devoted mother of Alan and Elizabeth, much loved sister of Robert and loving grandmother of Cameron. A good friend to many people who will be sadly missed. Funeral service will take place at St. Mary's Parish Church, Kirkintilloch, on Wednesday, April 16th at 1 p.m. Thereafter for committal at the Old Isle Cemetery, Newport, Kirkintilloch, to which all family and friends are respectively invited. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers to Chest, Heart and Stroke, Scotland.
Licence updated. A shop in Lenzie has successfully applied to update its alcohol licence despite an objection from a local resident. Eastern Bartonshire Licensing Board approved the application for Key Store in Auchinloch Road, which included permission to add home delivery of alcohol to its operations, updating the name of the shop on the licence, and a slight overall reduction in off-sales capacity. The board had received a complaint about a December 2024 incident involving several youths who were outside the shop when carrying alcohol. However, inspections on 2 occasions found the business was operating well, with a log of refusals to sell alcohol and robust age-checking procedures in place. The officers concluded that there was no evidence which suggested the shop had sold alcohol to underage customers.
The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald letters page, as published on Wednesday the 9th of April 2025. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKY HERALD @ JNScotland.co.uk. Please write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Re-examine red lines. Sir, the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, publishing its economic and fiscal outlook to coincide with the Chancellor's spring statement, noted a continuing weak growth in trade volumes over the coming years. Figures indicate that the exports fell at 2.2% in 2024 and imports rose by 1.6%. It notes that this weak growth in imports and exports over the medium term partly reflects the continuing impact of Brexit. This is expected to reduce the overall trade intensity of the UK economy by 15% in the long term. With a Labour government scratching around for levers that will boost economic growth, clearly it may want to re-examine its red lines of the UK not rejoining the EU single market or even the customs union. Yours, etc., Alex Orr, by email. More worthy than others, Sir. From down the back of the sofa, perhaps, the SNP has rustled up around £500,000 of our cash to give to Stonewall. This is in spite of the organisation apparently scrapping its Scottish operation. The SNP administration has been urged to explain why, in these circumstances, it is continuing to back the organisation financially. It is hard not to get the impression that some causes and countries, if their ideology fits in with that of the SNP, are almost having your cash pressed on them, whether they need it or not. Meanwhile, back in the real Scottish world, so many good causes are starved of cash. Yours, etc., Alexander Mackay, by email. Delight at Harvey's exit. Sir, there will be few who are not delighted that Patrick Harvey is standing down as co-leader of the Scottish Greens, yet, surely the most thrilled will be the private sector tenants. Harvey's Pavlovian dislike of landlords led to flawed and naive decision-making, adversely impacting the private rental sector. The consequence is the situation tenants now live with, a shrinking number of private sector properties and escalating rents. It's a shame the Scottish Greens have become so obsessed with the far-left politics of grievance instead of their supposed raison d'etre of caring for the environment. Yours, etc., Martin Redfern, by email. No free speech. Sir, we live in a world in which the basic elements of a free neoliberal society are being steadily eroded. When I was young, I could say things which should now be classed as racist. Since the late 20th century, a new offence was created: hate speech. Of course, one man's hate speech is another's honest opinion, expressed forcibly. This has, in turn, led to non-crime hate incidents, a means by which opinions can be identified as sufficiently concerning for you to receive a visit from the police, and yet not serious enough to be a crime. How can that be in a nominally free country? What does this mean? It means we no longer have free speech. It is a matter of great concern that this should be the case, and the next government will have to roll back the laws which make us unfree. Yours, etc., Peter Hopkins, by email. Council tax concerns. Sir, the recent discussions surrounding council tax rises and substantial pay increases for council leaders deserve our immediate attention. Many Scots find themselves in communities where services are increasingly stretched, yet they are facing eye-watering hikes in their council tax bills. While it is essential to ensure our local authorities are effectively managed, it is equally critical that public funds are handled with the utmost care and fairness. The notion that council leaders would receive significant pay hikes while residents are grappling with financial pressures feels grossly out of touch with reality. Local councils should prioritise transparency, particularly in how they choose to allocate resources and salaries. The public rightly expects their leaders to lead by example. showing a commitment to fairness at all levels. Equitably compensating council leaders in tandem with responsible financial practices can ensure we adhere to the social contract between local authorities and the communities they serve. Scotland's residents deserve local leadership that reflects their values, particularly in times of rising costs. Let's call on our councils to maintain a clear commitment to responsible governance that fosters community trust and collaboration. Yours, etc., Alistair Marjorie. Address supplied. And that was this week's Let's Talk, as published on Wednesday the 9th of April.
Good day to you here. It's Philip here, reading the church news under the district news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. And it's Easter, or coming up to Easter, or it's Easter week. People are on a holiday. I'm on a permanent holiday because I'm a pensioner now, but I still keep busy doing home radio and various other things, singing in choirs and stuff. So what are you up to this Easter time? Do you do anything special? Are you attending any of the Easter services in your locale? Well, I shall start off by reading the locale one that I begin with each week. It is Milton Campsie Church News. Easter is all about Jesus and spells entry, anger, supper, trial, end and risen. Well, that's it in a nutshell, eh? Mama Lada is this year's Go Mad theme. Stories of Jesus will be brought to us by a refugee bear from darkest Peru. Now, I wonder who that is. Beginning on Sunday, July the 27th, it will run for almost 2 weeks, culminating in a charity concert on Thursday, August the 5th. There will be events for everyone, youngsters and adults. Preparations have begun. Just 17 weeks to go. Whoa. The next Go Mad Extra is on Sunday, June the 1st from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. Looking forward, our union with Campsie Church steering group has been formed and we are aiming at a service of union at the end of November. Good news for those two churches and their union together. I pray God would bless them. And now an ecumenical Bible studies are being held in Campsie Church, Lennoxtown on Mondays at 2 p.m. Our minister Julie is, as intimated before, is interim moderator for St David's Memorial in Kirkintilloch. And our Messenger magazine is being delivered through every letterbox in the village this week. Our charity of the month is Mission Aviation Fellowship. Meantime, Cathy Connect is on Tuesdays at 9:30am till 12 noon. Time to Pray on Wednesday is at 7pm in the Eric Liddell Room. On Friday at 6:15 we have BB, that's Boys Brigade, Anchor and Junior Sections. Activities will stop during Holy Week to make way for evening services being held nightly at 7pm, followed by tea at 7:30. All are welcome. And now to Kirkintilloch Church of God at Regent Hall, Regent Street. On Wednesday is our Coffee Corner Easter special at 12 noon. The programme begins with lunch, followed by a quiz, a seasonal video, and guest speaker Bob Hawthorne from Barrhead. All welcome. Admission is free. The next Sunday service is on Sunday, April the 20th at 4 p.m. This will be a good news event featuring the praise band and guest speaker Alec Brown from Wishaw. You'll be most welcome to join us. For up-to-date and further information on services, visit our website, allthewsregenthall.org. The Bible says Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today and forever. And thank God for that. And now we move to Bishopbriggs, St James Church in Hilton Road. And the minister there is Paul Watson. And there is a communion service in the chapel on Thursday, April the 10th at 11am and on Sunday, April the 13th at 9am and 10:30am. With hymns in the church, everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea, coffee and fellowship afterwards. The 10:30 Sunday service on Tuesday as well, and April the 15th at 1pm till 3pm. Tuesday club meeting lunch, followed by a talk by Sue Milne from Gavin's Mill. A £3 donation is at the door. All are welcome to come along. There are also other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date information, refer to their Facebook, St James the Less Bishopbriggs, Website, all the W's, stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. And now to Lindsay Old Parish Church that is. Sunday worship is at 11 a.m. A crèche is available for children under 3. The Quilt and Craft Group meet every Wednesday 10 a.m. till 12 noon in the session room. Thursday's afternoon club is on Thursday. Yeah, it's a good day to have a Thursday afternoon club on a Thursday. April the 10th, 2 till 4 p.m. Enjoy tea, coffee and home baking, followed by a game of Scrabble, Dominoes, Rubik's Cube or Uno. If preferred, you can just sit back and chat or do your knitting. Come and sing. The dementia-friendly singing group meets in the church hall at Tuesdays, April the 15th, 1:15 to 2:45. A warm welcome awaits all, and of course there is the usual cup of tea and delicious home baking. Please feel free to come and sing. Scottish country dancing is on every Thursday, 7:15 till 9:30 p.m. Come along for fun, fitness and friendship. You'll be made very welcome. Now to Kenmure Parish Church. Beginning the new month means the first Sunday club will meet again at the start of our regular service at 11 a.m. Visitors to the area will be made welcome when they join us for our services. You can attend either in person or online on our YouTube channel. The services on YouTube can be watched and watched live or streamed later. That's one of the good things about this modern technology. You can watch the service as it happens, or if you're not available then you can watch it later on the stream service in a time that suits you. And you can find their channel by simply searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs on YouTube. There will be a period of fellowship following the service in the hall when teas, coffees, juice and biscuits are served. The most up-to-date details of all our groups that are currently running may be found on the on the What's On section of our website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. And if you'd like to join our WhatsApp group, then contact kenmurechurch@icloud.com. And then to Home Church in Lammermuir Road, Kirkintilloch. And they also have a home church in East End in Carmyle, and also a home kitchen Cathay Church in Skelmorley at 10:30 a.m. and online, a church for all ages. The Lord has given me a new song to sing, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see what he has done and be astounded. They will put their trust in the Lord, and that's from Psalm 40. Also, they have a new campus starting in Mallaig at Easter as well. And also on this Sunday, in the Sunday service, as usual, at 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Worship service followed by refreshments. A warm welcome awaits you at either service, which will be identical. There is also a creche Sunday school. Carmyle campus is at 10:30 a.m. Evening service with communion on the first, second and fourth Sunday of the month at various locations at 6:30 p.m. Monday, ladies' prayer meeting, 7 p.m. Read through the Bible discussion on Zoom every fortnight at 8 p.m. Tuesday, engine room at 9:30 a.m. Zoom Bible study 2:30 to 4 p.m. And Wednesday, new venues coming soon. Wow, look forward to that. Also gives me more to say. That may be good or bad. Anyway, back to the news. Thursday, prayer meeting in the church at 7 a.m. Football in the evening at 7:30 p.m. Friday's youth group 7:30 p.m. The prayer meeting 7:30 p.m. Home radio is available every day. See Facebook, Instagram and Home Church website that is, for more information. And if you want to hear my dulcet tones and hear what God's doing across the world, tune in on Mondays 8 till 9 p.m. Torrance Parish Church next, the morning service is in person at 10:30 a.m, conducted by the Reverend Stuart Irvin. During the service, the youngsters meet together in creche, junior church and frog. Friends of God, that stands for. To join the service online, click all the W's, torranceparishchurch.online.church. The cafe is open every Wednesday at 9 a.m. till 12 noon for teas, coffee and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? The Boys Brigade meet on Wednesdays 7 till 9 p.m. That's the P7s to S6. To find out about regular weekly activities, check the website for What's On at www.tpc.org.uk. Hey, and lastly, but not least, Springfield Cambridge Church have lots of things on. On Sunday, the 13th of April, morning worship will be conducted by the Reverend Ian Taylor in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. As part of the local Holy Week services, Springfield Cambridge will host a Palm Sunday service on Sunday, April the 13th at 7 p.m. An offering will be taken during the service. Please place your offering in the plates as usual. Tea and coffee will be served in the Cavern Hall after morning worship. Come and enjoy the fellowship. The Sunday school meets in room 2, where Crest facilities are also available. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found at all the W's, springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and our Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. There will be no vestry hour on Wednesday, April 9th. There will be no short midweek service on Wednesday, April 9th as well in the Springfield Chapel. And the Guild is inviting the congregation to join them in supporting the Eastern Baptist Food Bank. Bring along the donations and place them in the cupboard as usual. And then tickets, £12 for the quiz and fish supper night. That proves to be a good night if you're good at quizzes. If not, there's always a fish supper. Friday, April the 11th are available for members of the fundraising group. The 268 Boys Brigade Anchor Boys Coffee Morning is on Saturday, April the 26th at 10 a.m. Donations of home baking welcome. Tickets will be available on Sunday, April the 20th. Adults £4, children £1. On Sunday, April the 27th, the Sunday school meets. And they'll be serving rolls and bacon sausage sandwiches. Yeah, after the church in Cameron Hall. And one more church not to be missed is Lenzie Union Parish Church. The Sunday service is at 11 a.m. Young people are also welcome at Lighthouse and Bible class. A live stream of the service will be available on YouTube. You also have the meeting place open for tea and coffee and home baking every Wednesday, 10 to 12 noon in the new hall. Everyone from the very young to the young at heart is welcome to attend. We also have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. The coffee pot, another time for coffee or tea, is open on Fridays for tea, coffee, home baking. A warm, friendly welcome atmosphere always, everyone. So there you have it. That's all the church news for this week. And hopefully you can manage out to a church service on Sunday or any other day of the week as well. And be good to see you there. I won't be there because I'll be at my own church in Bishopbriggs. But God bless you. Thank you for listening. Hopefully I haven't bored you, and hopefully I will found the service or notice it is interesting to you about any of these two services that are coming up. So God bless you. Take care and speak to you next week.
As published on Wednesday the 9th of April, District News General. Heart of the Matter, reflecting on a remarkable colleague by Dr. Frank Dunn. There were quite a number of bumps along the road. We are all used to potholes, but overall I love my career, and especially interacting with patients at their most vulnerable. I do hope the current healthcare professionals can derive a similar sense of contentment. During those years, I have encountered many memorable patients and indeed colleagues. One such colleague is Dr. Brian Murphy. I first met Brian when he came as a senior trainee to Stob Hill, a hospital where everyone pulled together at all levels. Brian slotted in perfectly to that family environment. What struck me, even then, was Brian's ability to look at the whole patient. He could address general medical issues as comfortably as he could cardiology issues. He developed his skills in pacing techniques under the guidance of the late and greatly missed Dr. Kerry Jane Hogg, who was the number one pacing expert in the country. Brian was appointed consultant at Inverclyde Royal Hospital in 2009. The rates of heart disease deaths in that area were amongst the highest in Scotland, and yet implantation rates of advanced heart failure therapeutic devices were relatively low. Brian set up a service as sole operator for his patients with severe heart failure and improved their access to advancing pacing techniques as well as defibrillator implantation to prevent sudden deaths. He worked there for 5 years before moving to the Victoria Infirmary and Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, QEUH, in Glasgow, and again contributed hugely to the development of the cardiology service on the south side, driving on the development of the advanced heart failure therapies and all aspects of cardiac pacing. Around 2019, Brian began to notice muscle weakness, and neurological review revealed that he had motor neuron disease, MND. This came as a devastating blow, not only to Brian, but to his family, his colleagues, and many of his admiring patients. He continued to work until it was no longer possible because of weakness in his arms and legs. Despite his progressive infirmity, he has successfully switched his focus and energy to promoting the cause of MND throughout the country. This has involved attending fundraising events, highlighting the plight of MND patients through the media, helping to strengthen MND Scotland, and taking his advocacy as far as the Scottish Parliament. In addition, his wife Gillian and her family have also become great supporters of this charity. This has included athletic feats by his son Jack and his brother Adrian, who has also taken on the role of chair of MND Scotland. All these activities have changed the profile of MND in Scotland substantially, and Brian continues, despite his MND, to fight for better awareness, diagnosis and care for his fellow MND sufferers. As a consequence of both his contributions to cardiology and to MND, Brian was awarded an MBE in the New Year's Honours List. I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this award. In 2023, Brian had appendicitis. He was not considered fit enough for an operation and remarkably survived with conservative treatment. Since then, he has required ventilation, but is back home with wonderful round-the-clock carers. None of this would be possible without Brian's wife Gillian. Gillian is a senior sister in cardiology at the QEUH and has cared for and supported Brian at every step along the way. They are a special couple. And that was The Heart of the Matter by Dr. Frank Dunn. Clubs. St Columba's Men's Clubs. At 7:30pm every Monday, St Columba's Men's Club meets in the Church Hall in Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, and offer a very warm welcome, together with the chance to play a bit of pool or snooker, dominoes, or even some table tennis. If none of these appeal, how about a cup of coffee or tea and a chat? Our members come not only from Kirkintilloch, but also from Lenzie, Cumbernauld, Milton of Campsie and Bearsden. If you think this would be maybe for you, and you would like more details, contact either Ian Gibb on 0141 776 5453 or Jim Kennedy on 07767 124 416. Kirkintilloch Horticultural Society. Our next meeting is on Thursday, April 17th. The speaker will be Nancy Stevens, whose talk is entitled Poppies, Peacocks and Parterres, Gardens of Scotland. Nancy is a keen amateur gardener and journalist. She is also a former chair of Baldurnut Gardening Club. We will also hold our second spring show at this meeting. There will be no judge. Instead, each member will have an opportunity to vote for their favourite exhibit, and the exhibit with the most votes will win a £10 garden voucher. The classes for the spring shows are as follows. 1. One flowering plant. 2. One container hyacinth. 3. One container crocuses. 4. One container narcissi/daffodils. 5. One container tulips. 6. One container cacti or succulents. 7. One container living plants. 8. One container primula/polyanthus. 9. One container spring cut flowers. New members are always welcome. We meet in Enterprise House on the third Thursday of the month at 7:30pm. For more information, go to www.kirkintillochhorty.org.uk. Kirkintilloch and District Society of Antiquaries. Our next meeting, on Thursday, April 24, is the annual general meeting. The speaker will be David Forsyth, Confessions of a Tour Guide. All evening meetings are held at 7:30pm in the Park Centre, 45 Kerr Street, Kirkintilloch, G66 1LF. New members are always welcome. Annual membership subscription is £10. For more information, go to www.kdsa33.blogspot.com/welcome_2.html. Bearsden Art Club. Established in 1953, Bearsden Art Club provides members with a programme of professional guest artists, demonstrations and various media, together with lectures and subjects of artistic interest, and the occasional social event. The annual exhibition is held in the Lily Gallery in Mulgai, with the support of Eastern Bartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust. This is a showcase event for Bearsden Art Club members to display their works with an opportunity to make sales. The exhibition appeals to those interested in local artists and their work. Works are presented using a range of materials, including oil paint, watercolour, acrylic, pastel, textiles, multimedia and ceramics. The club membership includes accomplished artists and beginners. Some of them may be exhibiting for the first time. Visitors are welcome and can take part in choosing a favourite painting. Tuesday, April the 8th to Thursday, May the 8th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Free admission. Unearthing the Past. A new collaboration between the James Hutton Institute and the National Library of Scotland digitises the extent of historic moorland, causing a combination of AI and 180-year-old maps. The collaboration, which follows on from a project mapping grassland on peat, has, for the first time, allowed for the classification and localisation of over 5 million hectares of moorlands as they appear in the first edition Ordnance Survey maps, produced between 1843 and 1882. By using a computer vision machine learning model, trained to detect the specific symbols on the map, areas of bog, moss and moorland that have often been damaged or, in places, lost entirely to the past 180 years can now be identified. Researchers hope this will provide an additional method for identifying areas of converted peatlands that contribute a total of 6.34 megatons, or 10 to 15% of Scotland's annual emissions of CO2 equivalent. Fraser McFarlane, machine learning research scientist at the James Hutton Institute, said, "The maps in the collection of the National Library of Scotland are an incredible resource that offers a unique view into the past. The Ordnance Survey is a very reliable source from which we can extract information from 140 years ago. Understanding that information offers valuable insight and can play a vital part in our research. These technologies can be applied to other historic maps, such as the James Hutton Institute collection. The new digital layer is available using this viewer on the NLS website. The sliders allow users to change the transparency of the produced data and the historic maps to show comparisons with modern satellite imagery. Additionally, users are invited to contribute to the improvement of the dataset using the corrections panel to highlight any areas of missing moorland. Chris Fleet, map curator at the National Library of Scotland, said, "We have been very happy to collaborate with the James Hutton Institute on this useful project to create a new dataset showing the moorland on Ordnance Survey First Edition 6-inch maps of Scotland. As well as showing the exciting potential of machine learning technologies, this layer will be of great interest and value to all those interested in historic moorland coverage in Scotland." And that was this week's District News General, as published on Wednesday the 9th of April.
Public Notices. Eastern Bartonshire Council Public Notices. Planning Applications. Format: application number, followed by address/location, followed by proposal, followed by type of advert, followed by period of reps. TP/ED/25/0151. Land from Torrance Roundabout to Loch Grog Roundabout, Torrance Road, Torrance, East Bartonshire. Provision of approximately 2 kilometres of new carriageway and associated works between the existing Westerhill Road and the A803 Kirkintilloch Road. Regulation 20(1) departs 21 days. TP/ED/25/0166 22 McGurty Avenue, Lenzie, East Bartonshire, G66 4HH. Replacement of roof with Coupa Pizzara Heavy 3 slates. Refurbishment of rainwater goods and replace existing lead flat roof with EPDM roofing. Section 65, affecting CA, 21 days. If you are unable to view the plans on the Council's website, then please contact the Planning Duty Officer to arrange a suitable time to view the plans in our offices. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties, and may also be published on the Council's website.
Kirkintilloch Herald. Sport. Palmer's wanting form to improve. Written by Brian Newell. Read by Alan Todd. Petershill assistant manager Craig Palmer has described the race from the promotion from the West of Scotland First Division as wild. His side was close to going up last term, and once again Petershill sit just outside the top 3. Unfortunately, their form during March wasn't great, with the Springburn outfit only picking up 4 points from 5 games last month. Palmer says Petershill needs to quickly turn things around and start picking up points during their run-in if they are to move up a league this time. He told SM Media's The 80 podcast, "The league is up and down. It's wild, to be honest. We said that last year, but I think it's even worse this year. We are still in a good position, but the last couple of weeks have not been great for us with dropping points. You never know what will happen, as there is still a lot of hard games to come, but we need to start picking up points. At the end, you need to be going on a wee run. I think that's vital. Kilwinning did recently and put themselves right up there. So now we need to get the finger out and start getting some points on the board." Petershill's recent form is in stark contrast to winning 5 out of 7 across December to February, but did look more like their old selves with a 4-1 away win to Kilbirnie Ladeside on Saturday. Palmer said, "We came back after Christmas and went on a bit of a run, but it just seems we're really struggling with consistency and making mistakes at certain times. You need to be taking chances and getting the wins in this league, because you look at someone like Rutherglen Glencairn. They were excellent at the start and everybody thought they were going to run away with it, then went through a stage they couldn't win. They seem to have picked back up again, and similarly, it is about us finding that run of form once more." Written by Brian Newell, read by Alan Todd. Eastern Bartonshire folk urged to get out walking. Uncredited. Paths for All Development Officer Valerie Carson visited Eastern Bartonshire recently and joined in the Mulgai Library Health Walk. EDLC Leisure operates free health walks for everyone in Mulgai, Bearsden, Kirkintilloch, Milton of Campsie, Torrance, Lenzie and Bishopbriggs. Val said, "I've really enjoyed hearing about the brilliant work staff and volunteers are doing in EDLC to help people be active and connect with others. It's been a privilege to meet participants on the Mulgai Library Walk and hear firsthand how much they appreciate being able to walk and talk together." EDLC's health walks are part of the Scottish Health Walk Network, which brings together hundreds of health walk providers throughout Scotland. The newest health walk added to the schedule in Eastern Bartonshire is Torrance, with the pilot beginning late last month. It is looking for new walkers to join this group and walk on the country roads to exploring new routes around the area. It runs every Wednesday at noon, with the walk starting from Torrance Community Centre. Also appealing for new leaders and members is the Bearsden Cross walking group, which meets every Friday at 1 p.m. at St Andrew's Church. To find a health walk near you, visit the Paths for All website. For more information, email walking coordinator John Kiernan at john.kiernan@eastonbartonshire.gov.uk or call 07766 798 978. That's 07766 798 978. Read by Alan Todd. Egg chasing takes over this Easter. Written by Brian Yule. Read by Alan Todd. If you fancy some egg chasing of a different kind this Easter holidays, head to Murrayfield for a day of 7 community rugby finals. Tickets are now on sale for this year's Silver Saturday event, which will take over Murrayfield in the Hive Stadium on April 19th. Contested on the day will be the Scottish Cup, Sarah Beanie Cup, Women's Plate Final, Men's National League Cup Final, Men's and Women's Shields Finals, and the Men's National Bowl Final. The first matches will kick off at 10 a.m, with the last match starting at 6:30 p.m. Along with the family-friendly activities on Silver Saturday, the Women's Six Nations matches between Scotland and England will be played on the big screens in the President's Suite. The Women's National Bowl Final is also part of Scottish Rugby's national finals, though it will be played on Murrayfield's back pitches on Sunday, April 13th at noon, ahead of Scotland versus Italy in the Women's Six Nations match at Hive Stadium. Club Rugby Board Vice President Hazel Swankie says, "Silver Saturday provides a platform like no other for club rugby in Scotland." She said, "Silver Saturday is always a shining highlight on the club calendar. I can't wait to welcome all 14 teams and their many supporters on April 19th. I wish everyone the best of luck in their qualifying, and to those who reach finals, a great day out awaits for all players, win or lose." Gates will open at 9:15 a.m. for spectators, with a range of food and drink options available throughout the day. Visit the Silver Saturday webpage for more information. Match reports will be filed on the day and can be found on the Rolling Updates page. The ticketing portal is also now live, with tickets costing adult £10, match day £15, senior 60 plus £5, match day £10, and under 18s £5, match day £5. Silver Saturday fixtures: Men's Bowl, Hive, 10 a.m. Women's Shield, Scottish Gas Murrayfield, 10 a.m. Men's Shield, Hive, 12:45 p.m. Men's National League Cup, Scottish Gas Murrayfield, 12:45 p.m. Women's Plate, Hive, 3:30 p.m. Scottish Cup, Scottish Gas Murrayfield, 3:30 p.m. Sarah Beanie Cup, Scottish Gas Murrayfield, 6:30 p.m. Written by Brian Yule, read by Alan Todd. Kirkintilloch Herald Sport, Speedway. Brown ecstatic at start as Harris ends long wait. Written by Phil Lanning, read by Alan Todd. Glasgow Tigers opened the season with a 47-43 win away to Edinburgh Monarchs in the first leg of the Scottish Cup on Friday night. Chris Harris and Dan Thompson took the all-important heat advantage in Heat 15 to wrap up the result, as they both finished the night with 13 points. Team boss Cammy Brown said, "I'm ecstatic. It's really strong opening win for the boys. We lost Ashton Bowen through injury, but we had so much firepower. Dan was sensational all night with 4 straight wins, and Chris is always outstanding. But Kyle Howarth was also excellent from start to finish. I have to give a special mention for young Max Perry, who produced several crucial battling rides to get important points for us. I'm delighted for the Red and White Army on the third bend. Our fans have been fantastic, and they made so much noise. They love a win over the Monarchs. We had to dig in a bit at times, but we got stronger in the latter stages big time. I was delighted with the team spirit as well, a really great start." Harris then followed it up on Sunday by finally ending a 25-year wait to land the Championship League Riders title. He roared past Tigers teammate Howarth to win the final at the Eddie Wright Raceway in Scunthorpe. Harris said, "This is a really special win for me. It's a title I wanted to tick off my list. I've won almost everything now in British Speedway. Apart from a few years off, I've been in this league since 2000 with Exeter, so it's nice to finally win the Riders' title." The day started good, and then there were a few issues with setups. We made a bit of a gamble in the final and it worked. I made the cutback and went through the middle. Kyle and I had discussion over gate positions. I thought it might be wet off gate 4 after the track grade. Harris and Howarth had similar afternoons, scoring 9 and 10 points respectively to reach the knockout stages. Howarth said, "In all honesty, I'm happy with the second place and just pleased we could do this for Glasgow. It's been a great start with the win at Edinburgh and now top 2 in the Riders' titles." Written by Phil Lanning, read by Alan Todd. Losing a late goal after dominating is story of our season. Uncredited. More than 700 people turned out as Kirkintilloch Rob Roy hosted St Roch's in the West of Scotland First Division on Friday night. However, the majority would be left disappointed as despite the home side dominating the game, they would go down to a 1-0 defeat. The best of their chances saw Michael Baber find the side netting, while Jamie McLean was denied by a good save. The visitors hit them with a sucker punch 4 minutes from the end, though, through, as Ben Daly grabbed the only goal of the game. Rob Roy now have 7 games left in order to avoid back-to-back relegations. These start with the visit of Cumbernauld United tonight, Wednesday, and then a trip to Ardrossan Winton Rovers on Saturday. Rob Roy boss John Gibson told the club's media team, "I thought we played well and unlucky to end up losing the game 1-0. We were well on top, missed 2 really good chances, and they've caught us with the sucker punch right at the end. We've got to take the positives in that we played really well, kept possession, and looked like the only team that was going to win it, but end up with nothing again. I said to the boys, that's been the story of our season. We're not clinical in front of goal and give teams a chance to hit us on the break. I don't know how many times Kyle Aitken has hit only 1 shot on target against us. It ends up in the net, and it happened again. It is sore for the players as well because they deserve more than they've got, but that's just football sometimes." West of Scotland results. First Division. Kirkintilloch 0, St Roch's 1. Kilbirnie Ladeside 1, Petershill 4. Second Division. Caledonian Locomotives 0, Craigmark 1. Third Division. Glenvale 2, Glasgow Pershore 1. Threave Rovers 5, Finnart 2. Fourth Division. Knightswood 2, Rossvale 1. West Park United 2, Saltcoats Victoria 1. Saturday fixtures. First Division. Ardrossan Winton Rovers versus Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. Petershill versus Kilwinning Rangers. Ashfield versus Vale of Clyde. Second Division. Muirkirk Juniors versus Caledonian Locomotives. Third Division. Finnart versus Glenvale. Glasgow Perthshire versus Greenock Juniors. Fourth Division. East Kilbride Thistle versus West Park United. Rossvale versus Royal Albert. Read by Alan Todd.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.